Prophet Samuel from the tribe of Ephraim, an Ephraimite. Ephraim was one of the sons of Joseph. Joseph had two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. Okay, so Elkanah, Samuel's father, came from that tribe of Ephraim. Okay, Elkanah had two wives, Peninnah and Hannah. And through Hannah and Elkanah brought forth Samuel. Okay, Samuel was a strong prophet. He was called from child. He was mentored by a priest named Eli, and the priest was grooming him and training him. However, the priest, his sons were corrupted. However, the Most High chose Samuel to be a prophet to the nation, so he allowed Eli to be able to be the one to groom him. Eli had a lot of faults with God for not raising his sons well and spoiling them, allowed them to be corrupted in the temple and doing whatever they wanted to do. The Most High wasn't happy about that. He got rid of them, his sons. However, he chose the prophet Samuel. However, Samuel, he was a Nazirite. As you can see here, he had locks. And as a Nazirite, similar to Samson, Nazirites, they were chosen and set apart to accomplish a certain task. Samuel's task was to be a leader, and a prophet to Israel. And at times he played both roles as leadership for Israel as well as a prophet. Okay, until eventually Israel had a king, King Saul. Because the people kept pressing for a king like the nations. Though Yah wanted to be the one leading them and be their king, they wanted a physical human king, right, that they could see. Just human nature, always want to see what is a deity or, leadership, physical embodiments, So the Most High allowed it, and he used Prophet Samuel to choose a king for them, who was Saul. He anointed him. However, Saul was very self-focused, didn't care about the things and the ways of the Most High, and constantly was doing his own thing and full of pride, to the point where Yah got upset and took that leadership position away from him and transitioned that power to King David. And Prophet Samuel was used also to anoint King David to be king over Israel, over Judah and Israel. Okay. However, Samuel was used several times to bring judgment, to bring leadership for the people of Israel. During the time they were without king, even when they had kings, like Saul, he would give counsels, good advice, and so as a Nazirite, they're not allowed to cut their locks, from the time they were born to the time they accomplish their task, right, and leave the earth, right? So they're not allowed to cut their locks, not allowed to eat anything from the grapevine or any grape product. They're not allowed to touch the dead, right? They have to go through a cleansing process. And I believe number 6 goes through the detail about being a Nazirite. So he was a Nazirite as you can see here, was definitely a melanated man, had locks, um, so he was chosen to lead the people of Israel as one of the prophets even from his child. Like I said, he was groomed by Eli, priest Eli. He also came through Hannah. His father's name was Elkanah, who had two wives, Peninnah and Hannah. Peninnah was very fertile. She had many children through, Elkanah. Brought forth a lot of children. However, Hannah was barren. She couldn't give birth, receive any conception, and she was very bitter and constantly very sad about the situation, and constantly was encouraged by the husband, but she just constantly was sad about it. Eventually, she just decided to go into seed and pray for a child, and so she prayed and prayed, and one thing that she stated was, if the Most High was to give her a child, she would first give it back to him, meaning, give him back to the Most High for the use for his kingdom, and just had faith and kept praying, and the Most High honored her faith because she seek first his kingdom, right? And not only that, she knew how to move in faith and move the Most High, put in something that of interest, not of her own interest. Yes, she wanted a child, However, she was willing to offer him back to the Most High to be of use for his kingdom. And once she did that, her womb opened, and she was able to give birth, have conception of Samuel, Prophet Samuel. And so she brought him to Eli, and Eli groomed him. And it was one time he was very young when the Most High stopped calling Samuel when he was young. And Samuel thought he was Eli calling him. This was at nighttime. And he came to Eli and said, "Yeah, I heard your voice. I'm here." He says, "I didn't call you. Go back." And then he would go back to lay down and hear a voice, "Samuel, Samuel." And he would come back to Eli and say, "I'm here." And Eli would say, "I didn't call you. I didn't call you." So Eli started to understand, most likely this is Yah's doing, the Most High is doing. He's the one that's calling him. And then he told him to go lay down again. And if he gets called again, he knows that it's the Most High that's calling him. And he should just say, "Yes, Master, yes, yeah, I'm here." He told Samuel, this is most likely the Yah calling you. So as you hear that voice again, just respond, "Yes, I'm here." So as he went back to sleep, he heard the voice again, "Samuel, Samuel." And he said, "Yes, I'm here." And this is when Yah told Samuel that he was upset about Eli. Eli not he was spoiling his sons. Even though he was a priest to Israel. However, he allowed his sons to do whatever they wanted to do. So a lot of them, especially as they got older, they were allowing the women who were coming there for needs, spiritual help, guidance. And they would come there, act as priests for their own selfish gain, and gain the woman to have them sleep with them and do whatever they want. Um, you know, and take they take money from the people, just using their position for a lot of corruption. And the Most High saw all these. Nothing's hidden from the Most High. Yeah, He sees all. He knows all. He knew what was going on in the temple. And a lot of corruption there. So the Most High spoke to Samuel, that he's upset about this, and there's going to be punishment for Eli not rebuking and not training his sons well, allow him, and he was aware of these things, and he allowed it. So pretty much he brought judgment towards Eli, and judgment, got rid of his sons, and eventually Eli was gonna die, due to not listening and not correcting his sons. So he used Samuel in an early age to bring such a message, to Eli. And he's probably maybe 9 or 10, possibly, maybe younger. I'm just, but he was very young at this time, and Eli was just so sad about the situation, and he knew that God brought the message, and this was the beginning of Samuel being a prophet, the next priest, going to be leading, start from an early age, young age, start bringing the voice of the Most High to the people. Whether it's of, encouragement or judgment, in order to get the people of Israel aligned with doing His will. So he used Samuel, as a Nazirite, for His kingdom. It was just to continue to show the proof and demographic of the children of Israel. Like I've said before, this doesn't matter, whether the Israelites were melanated or the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, was melanated. When it comes to salvation, whether you believe in the Messiah, whether you're white, black, Asian, doesn't matter. You believe in the Messiah, you walk in His commandments, statutes, and judgment, and receive His Spirit. You're part of Israel, His kingdom. For King Solomon said this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear the Most High, fear Yah, and keep His commandments, and guard His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So thank you all for listening. Subscribe to the channel, share, comment, like. All right? Have a blessed day and blessed week. Shalom.